And to all the haters who say companies that go woke, go broke, I'd rather be poor than a fucking Nazi.
I was wrong. I was tweeting today and saw a clip of AOC saying that Sydney Sweeney ad was racist.
Chris Cuomo just tried to call out AOC over Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle jeans ad and ended up nuking his own credibility in real time.
Parody 100% made with AI. What was your first clue that it was fake, Chris?
And he fell for a deepfake so painfully obvious it literally had parody 100% made with AI stamped on it, then doubled down like it was breaking news. What happened next was an absolute masterclass in how to embarrass yourself online.
Sydney Sweeney looks like an Aryan goddess, and the American Eagle jeans campaign is blatant Nazi propaganda. I mean, fuck. Watching that sultry little temptress squeeze into a Canadian tuxedo, 3 sizes too small.
First, let's talk about this gotcha video. Cuomo thought was the big proof. It showed AOC on the House floor, supposedly going off on Sydney Sweeney like it was the trial of the century. In the video, she calls Sweeney an Aryan goddess, says the American Eagle jeans ad is blatant Nazi propaganda, and then throws in weird stuff about a sultry little temptress in a Canadian tuxedo 3 sizes too small with bouncy little fun bags.
With her bouncy little fun bags on the screen staring at you, piercing through the core of your soul, with those ocean blue eyes that could resurrect the Führer from his grave in Argentina, is something that should alarm every American citizen.
Then it gets even wilder. She talks about ocean blue eyes that could resurrect the Führer, says skinny blonde-haired, blue-eyed cisgender women are from slave daddy oppressors, and claims we should be celebrating Chenequas and obese alphabet people with blue hair. In the grand finale, I'd rather be poor than a Nazi.
Skinny, attractive, blonde-haired, blue-eyed cisgender women descend from the slave daddy oppressors of this nation. And any man who cranks one out while thinking about a woman like this probably hates black people.
And here's the crazy part. While this one was obviously a joke, AI deepfakes are getting so advanced they're already being used in politics around the world. Fake speeches, bogus robocalls, AI-generated rally clips, all designed to sway voters before they even realize they've been duped. That's the game now. Get the lie out first, let the truth play catch up later.
We should be celebrating the Shaniquas instead of worshiping the hot, straight blonde. What about the obese alphabet, people with blue hair?
It's not serious politics, it's pure parody. Bad lip sync, over-the-top lines, and a huge label right at the top saying parody 100% made with AI. Anyone watching for more than 5 seconds could tell it was fake. So what does Chris Cuomo do when he sees this totally fake over-the-top video? Does he laugh and scroll past it? Nope. He jumps straight on Twitter like he just uncovered a national scandal. He writes, "Nothing about Hamas or people burning Jews' cars, but Sweeney jeans had deserved time on the floor of Congress. Fight for small business, not small culture wars." Yeah. He really thought AOC took time out of Congress to rant about a jeans ad. And here's the thing, it doesn't even look like he watched the whole clip. He probably just saw the headline, got triggered, and fired off a tweet without a single fact check. It was the perfect example of react first, think later. AOC didn't even break a sweat on this one. She just walked right up to Cuomo's little Twitter moment and slapped it into next week. She hits him with, "Dude, this is a deep fake. Please use your critical thinking skills. At this point, you're just reposting Facebook memes and calling it journalism. It was short, it was sharp, and it was the verbal version of a mic drop. No long lecture, no back and forth. Just a clean sit down that left him looking like he'd been caught with his hand in the misinformation cookie jar. And the best part? She didn't even raise her voice, but the internet sure did it for her. Hold up for a second. If you're into this kind of sharp, no fluff, fact-packed breakdown, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. That way, you'll be front row every time we expose the next political train wreck, and believe me, there are plenty more coming. Now, back to Cuomo's mess. So, the next night, Cuomo gets on his News Nation show and finally addresses the mess. And for a second, it actually sounds promising. He says, "I was wrong. They got me. AI. It was really good, and it did seem like something she would say, but it wasn't her." But Chris Cuomo cannot help himself. Instead of closing the book, he flips right back to his original tweet like it's still valid. He starts grilling AOC on why she hasn't called on Hamas to surrender, why she hasn't spoken about a St. Louis anti-Semitic car bombing, and basically tries to drag the conversation into a whole different fight. It's like saying, yeah, I was totally wrong, but I'm also kind of right. Newsflash, that's not how apologies work. It just made him look like a guy trying to win an argument he'd already lost, twice.
You listening? I was wrong. I was tweeting today and saw a clip of AOC saying that Sydney Sweeney ad was racist. And so I replied to it and I said, why do you care about this and ignore what matters most? Why, in all the times that you've called on Israel to stop, why have you never told Hamas to stop?
The internet was not buying Cuomo's little pivot routine. People were quick to point out the obvious. AOC has condemned Hamas multiple times since October 7th. So this whole she won't say it angle? Yeah, that was dead on arrival. And even if she hadn't, why exactly is she supposed to comment on every violent incident that happens in the United States? That's not how Congress works. That's not even how common sense works. Cuomo's deepfake blunder wasn't about global politics. It was about him getting caught pushing a fake video, then trying to change the subject. Classic dodge, like getting pulled over for speeding and arguing about potholes.
AOC was right. The video I shared wasn't real. But when you hear the video, you'll be like, he thought that was real?
People also noticed this wasn't a one-off slip. Ever since Cuomo landed at News Nation, his content has been leaning hard into right-wing talking points. The whole thing felt less like a genuine political critique and more like a desperate grab for MAGA street cred. And honestly, watching a guy who used to pride himself on being a serious journalist get dunked on over a jeans ad deepfake, that's a level of irony you can't make up.
AOC tweeted back and said, dude, that's a deep fake, that Sydney Sweeney ad. You suck, in so many words. And she was right. They got me. AI. It was really good and it did seem like something she would say, but it wasn't her. So I thanked AOC for correcting me.
Here's the real kicker. This wasn't just a bad take from Cuomo. It was a perfect example of why media literacy matters more than ever. We live in a world where AI deepfakes are everywhere. Some are scarily realistic, but this wasn't one of them. This was the kind of fake that practically waved its arms and screamed, "Hey, I'm fake!" It had bad lip sync and cartoon-level writing. If you still fall for that, it's not because the tech is too good. It's because you didn't even bother to check.
The classic when someone's get caught sharing something fake. Yeah, but it could have been real. It could have been real. It sounded like something she would say. He says.
And that's the problem. Too many people, even seasoned media pros, are living in react first, think later mode. They see something that fits their bias, and boom, they're off to the races without a single fact check. In Cuomo's case, it wasn't about the quality of the fake. It was about the temptation. It said exactly what he wanted AOC to have said, so he didn't stop to question it. That's how misinformation spreads, not because AI is unstoppable, but because people hand it the megaphone.
Chris Cuomo was an unqualified, uncritically thinking Nepo baby, a child of great privilege relative to both influence and power, but also money.
The scary part? When a high-profile figure like Cuomo spreads a fake, it supercharges the lie, reaching hundreds of thousands, living online without context, and fooling more people over time. The damage sticks even after corrections, and with foreign governments already using deepfakes to disrupt US elections, the risk is only growing. Just when you thought AOC might let it slide, she came back with one more clean shot. No yelling, no dragging it out, just precision aim. She told Cuomo he seemed to struggle with knowing how to write an apology, and even offered to help him out. That's political shade at its finest. She didn't have to scream or rant, she just tossed him a verbal post-it note that basically said, "Buddy, this isn't hard. Say sorry. Mean it. Stop talking."
A lot of people will say, yeah, well, it took a big man. He came out and said, oh, I was wrong. What other choice did he have? It's not saving face. He had no choice but to admit that what he did was wrong and stupid.
And honestly, that's the part that stings the most for someone like Cuomo. He's used to controlling the narrative, steering the conversation, being the guy who gets the last word. But here, AOC had him boxed in. Every time he tried to pivot back to Hamas or some other unrelated headline, it just reminded people that the whole reason we were here was because he fell for a fake video about a jeans ad. You can't fight your way out of that. You can only make it worse.
This is embarrassing. It's embarrassing from Chris Cuomo, who acts like a reasonable human being. It's embarrassing for Chris Cuomo as a journalist. It's just embarrassing all around.
By the end, it wasn't even a political fight anymore. It was a masterclass in self-destruction. Cuomo didn't need AOC to take him down. He did that all on his own. All she had to do was gesture toward the smoldering wreckage and let the internet do the rest. And trust me, they did. Clipping it, sharing it, and replaying it until the embarrassment became the headline. So here's the real question. If Chris Cuomo can't tell the difference between a parody and the truth, what does that say about the state of our media? Drop your thoughts in the comments.